These days, when I go out in the world, I make sure I have in my possession a can of lightly smoked bristlings. Now, if you're not familiar with these fish, bristling are European sprat, or small, kind of a herring-like shoaling fish found around the North Atlantic. Although they are rarely available in fresh form, canned versions with their clean flavor, delicate texture, and pleasantly oceanic aroma are favorites of seafoodies everywhere. And best of all, bristling are packed with omega-3 fatty acids such as icosapentaenoic and docosahexaenoic acids. I'm sure you get the Lancet and can look those big words up for yourselves. Rest assured, they're very good for the heart. And since these are tiny little fish, their bones are actually edible, so they're very high in calcium, perhaps the most crucial mineral for weight loss, because it seems to prevent the body from stacking on fat and maybe even help you to get rid of it. And of course, being fish, bristling are full of protein, lots of protein, which you're going to need to rebuild. All those muscles will be tearing down with those weights. I got it. That you're going to be lifting. I got it. Now, these little guys are packed in my preferred 2-layer configuration in olive oil. Now, water-packed specimens are lower in calories, but they're nowhere near as tasty. Besides, I drain most of the oil before consuming, and I like to eat with chopsticks, which promote slower eating, which studies have shown is key to achieving and maintaining a healthy weight. Go ahead, take a couple of cans. So I covered up the label, but look, this is all psychological. I mean, you yell bristling and everybody says, huh? What? You yell sardine and we got ourselves a panic. Did you lie? Sorry, I just can't pass up a Jaws quote. But seriously, nearly a dozen different species of small fish are packed and marketed as sardines, including but not limited to a blue pilchard herring, pilchard smeg, whatever that is, and sprats. Some of these things grow up to 10 inches, and when they're canned, well, they're just right down disgusting. The tiny little bristlings from Norway or Scotland remain sweet in the can, and no, they don't pay me to say that. Look, why don't we temper any possible fishiness the way they do down in the Canary Islands by combining our bristling with avocados, okay? So, crack the lids on 2 cans of bristling, packed in oil, of course, and drain the oil into 2 matching bowls. You should get about a tablespoon of oil out of each. Into one bowl, whisk 1 tablespoon of sherry vinegar, then add a tablespoon of freshly chopped parsley, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh lemon zest, and good grind of black pepper. Whisk and then add both cans of the fish. Fold them in nice and gentle-like so you don't break them apart, but you do want good coverage for the marinade. Now park that someplace for anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. All right, move one of your oven racks to within 3 inches of your top element and crank your hot box to broil, high broil if you got it. Now cut 4 1/2-inch slices of sourdough bread and brush them down with the oil from the second mixing bowl. There. Broil until lightly toasted. That's going to be 2 to 3 minutes in my oven, but I don't know about yours. You might want to keep an eye on it every 60 seconds or so, or the next sound you hear, maybe the smoke alarm. All right, grab yourself 1 ripe Hass avocado, have it, remove the pit, and then grab yourself a fork. Mash the flesh, both sides, directly into the skin, like that. There you go. Remove the toasts when done, and then evenly distribute your proto-guacamole onto the slices. Kind of spread it around with a spatula. There. Then you're going to distribute the fish evenly, along with the marinade, onto the toast, and kind of mash it in so that it holds. Garnish finally with a tablespoon of parsley. Hit it with some coarse sea salt, nice and crunchy that, and a big heavy squirt of lemon juice. There you go. All right, it doesn't look like much, but this is a nutritious and delicious meal that I could eat for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. commitment to a nutritionally dense diet was especially hard because it meant saying farewell to my beloved snacks. Bye-bye nougat, caramel, and crisp cookie crunch. Bye-bye pretzels, chocolate-covered everything. Luckily, snacking per se wasn't the problem. In fact, grazing helps to keep the metabolism going, thus preventing you from launching on ravenous rampages every time you sit down to a meal. Of course, one must snack wisely, and I wanted something that was, hand-friendly, crunchy, and satisfying, as well as healthy. And so I settled on the only nut on the famed Mayo Clinic's list of 10 superfoods, the almond. Hot box to 250, rack in the middle. Now combine 1 tablespoon of ground ginger and 1 teaspoon of kosher salt in a really big mixing bowl and set aside. Fetch down a 12-inch saute pan, place it over medium-low heat, and add 2 teaspoons of olive oil and 1 teaspoon of dark sesame oil. When that heats up, take 1 dried arboll chili, break off the end and remove the seeds, which are really, really hot, and then crumble the chili directly into the oil. Let that cook for 30 to 45 seconds or until you can actually smell the chilies in the air. There you go. Now, add 1 pound of whole natural almonds and toss, cooking for approximately 5 minutes until they become nice and toasty. Then time to bring in some flavor. A tablespoon of low-sodium soy sauce and Worcester sauce. I'll let that cook for about 1 minute until the pan seems relatively dry. And it's going to get kind of brown and sticky on the bottom. That's okay. Then it's time to evacuate into the bowl. Toss with the ginger salt combo thusly. Then move everything onto a sheet pan lined with a piece of parchment paper. Make sure you get them evenly dispersed. Into the oven for 20 minutes. This baking will set the outer layers so that the flavors stay put without the nuts feeling sticky. Cool for half an hour and enjoy. Now, a handful of almonds can provide a medicine chest of goodness, from monounsaturated fats to vitamins, fiber, protein to magnesium, which is critical for your nervous system. Still, there are calories here, so I limit my dosage to 1 ounce once or twice a day. Discipline. Speaking of, reaching and maintaining a healthy weight takes plenty of the D word. It takes discipline to weigh regularly, to eat slowly, to keep to your lists, to take control over what goes into the hole in your head.